There's a rumor that Buddhists, especially Theravada Buddhists, do not need to help others, that in fact, all that we need to do is to secure our own liberation, and then, and only then, can we be useful to others. Hi, it's Margaret Maloney, and welcome to the Death Dhamma podcast. I'm a Buddhist practitioner out here in the world, having experienced the loss of my loved ones and knowing how much my Buddhist practice helped me on my grief journey. And now, together, we have this safe space to discuss death, dying, grief, and the Buddhist teachings that help us really understand attachment, impermanence, being compassionate, being death ready, what it means to live a life so that we can have a peaceful death. Yep, it's a big topic, and we're going to take it on together. Let's go. Consider Dhammapada passage 166. Don't sacrifice your own welfare for that of another, no matter how great. Realizing your own true welfare, be intent on just that. Is this saying that you don't need to help others? No need to help others with their release from suffering. This deserves some careful attention. I don't buy for 1 minute that Buddhism, Theravada, or other Buddhisms does not encourage us to help others. In fact, for most of us, I would say that the way out of our own suffering very much depends on the way in which we support other beings. Sure, there are stories of individuals who had these compelling moments where they comprehended the Dhamma and instantly became enlightened. But were these people who never had compassion for others? In their moment of sudden enlightenment, were they people who would never lend a hand to another? I don't think so. And my theory is that sudden enlightenment is actually a result of many moments that lead up to this event. Something like, when you study and you're trying really hard to understand a difficult concept, maybe an algebra equation, and then all of a sudden you have that flash of clarity, your aha moment. You get it. That moment was really, that aha moment, that flash of clarity, was the result of work that led up to that flash. Sorry, I'm not trying to traumatize you with math, just thinking out loud. Thanks for listening. So back to our thoughts of, do we help others? So in no specific order here are the reasons or teachings that lead me to say, of course we help others while we are on our path, and supporting the beings around us makes it more likely that we experience progress. When we think of the Four Noble Truths, we realize that the three poisons, or the three unskillful roots, greed, hatred, and confusion or delusion, this is what's behind our need for clinging and aversion. Anganakara 369 states, monks, there are these three roots of what is unskillful. Which three? Greed is a root of what is unskillful. Aversion is a root of what is unskillful. Delusion is a root of what is unskillful. So to avoid these three poisons, or to cut off these unskillful roots, that's what we need to move forward to liberation. And the cure or the antidote for the poisons, or the way to cut off the unskillful roots, for delusion, it's panna, or wisdom. For greed, it's dana, or generosity. And for hatred, it's non-hatred and also loving kindness, or metta. We are encouraged to love and to give. Sure, we foster loving kindness for ourselves, but not just for ourselves, for others as well. To rid yourself of the three poisons, 2 of the antidotes require you to be supportive of others. Now, you can be generous to someone who does not need your generosity. Say, give money to a billionaire. But is that true generosity? Isn't true generosity to give freely and without expectation to one who will benefit from the gift? At its most basic level, dana means giving freely without expecting anything in return. The act of giving is purely out of compassion or goodwill, or the desire for someone else's well well-being. You might care about the well-being of a billionaire. We do want to care about everyone's well-being. But does that billionaire need you to give to him or her? So this desire for someone else's well-being would include the idea of relieving their suffering. So when it comes to giving, if you're giving money or food or clothing, that billionaire doesn't need it. They might need other things from you. Remember, the Noble Eightfold Path is the way out of suffering. Right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. We group right speech, right action, and right livelihood together as sila, or virtue. Part of the way out of suffering, then, is to live virtuously. And for those who take the 5 precepts, refraining from killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, and using intoxicants, these are about how you treat others. Each of these precepts helps you to avoid bringing suffering to yourself and others. We are encouraged to foster the 4 Brahma Viharas, the sublime attitudes, and to foster them and to be able to dwell at them in a limitless, in other words, to have limitless amounts of metta or loving kindness, limitless amounts of karuna or compassion, limitless amounts of mudita or sympathetic joy, and limitless amounts of upekkha or equanimity. Consider compassion. When you feel compassion for another, it is because you observe that they are suffering and you want them to have a way out of that suffering. Perhaps you are moved to take action to assist them. So there you are, in your own practice, dwelling in a place of loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. And you need other beings in order to participate in this practice. And your ability to dwell in the 4 sublime attitudes, in the Brahma Viharas, leads you to have a mind free of hatred. You can become more likely to generate good karma, more open to the factors of awakening, and, possibly extinguish your karma. So therefore, in the practice of Dhamma, even if, you're looking to the benefits of others, the results are going to also come to you. So that's why it's said sometimes that, by helping oneself, you help others, and by helping others, you help yourself. There's an analogy, a story from one of the suttas, a story that the Buddha tells. It's the story of 2 acrobats. And at that time, one of the tricks that acrobats would practice would be, there'd be a long bamboo pole, and one of them would balance it either on their head or their shoulder. And the other acrobat would be at the top of that pole, and they'd perform different tricks and balancing. So one time, 2 of these acrobats, there was the master and the apprentice. They're traveling around performing. And the master said, "Now, keep your eye on me, and I'll keep my eye on you, and so keep you from falling off." And the apprentice said, "Oh, no, master. You should look after yourself while I look after myself. In this way, we can perform our act and earn a living in safety." The meaning of this story is, in looking after yourself, you also look after others. And by looking after others, you also look after yourself. So how could it be that on our way to enlightenment, we only take care of ourselves? We involve others, we help others. And when we help others from their suffering, help them to achieve release from their suffering, in turn, we are closer to our own release from suffering. I've got books for you, starting with Carpooling with Death, How Living with Death Will Make You Stronger, Wiser, and Fearless, the book that got me going and helped me to discuss going through the death of my loved ones, followed by Sitting with Death, Buddhist insights to help you face your fears and live a peaceful life based on Season 1 of the Death Dhamma podcast. And just recently, Enlightenment Unleashed, how your pet can lead you to spiritual transformation, because during our lifetime, we may see the rising and ceasing of many pets, and we love them like they are our family. Find these on Amazon.com or come see me at MargaretMaloney.com. You've been listening to the Death Dhamma podcast with your host, Margaret Maloney. Thank you so much for being here. Come find me on MargaretMaloney.com, MargaretMeloni.com. And until we meet again, may you be well, may you be happy, may you be at ease, and may you be free from suffering. Bye for now.